I am Phoenix on Purpose, and this is Purpose Not Permission. If you aren't already, subscribe to the channel. And as you make your way into the room, make sure you like this video so that it can be distributed throughout YouTube. If you're listening to the video replay, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this topic. And if you're listening to the audio version on my podcast, be sure to give it a 5-star rating. You can hear the audio everywhere that pods are cast. All right. So this is part 2 of jealousy and envy are deadly sins. This is part 2 because the show must go on. The first live stream cut off. I think we got about an hour. I'll have to go in and rewatch that video, maybe cut out some parts, the dead parts that shut down, and then go ahead and share it to YouTube. Listen, my last episode, which one was it? Number 7. When I listened back to it, the audio was choppy. The feed was cutting in and out, but I uploaded it anyway. The show must go on, right? That's how show business works. We're going to make mistakes. No one's perfect. I am a flawed human being working with technology, right? In this moment, doing the best that I can. It will get better, okay? But I'm running with it, and I am taking everything in stride as we go along. I've seen this happen to other streamers, other content creators, where the audio may not be so good, where the feed may cut out, where, listen, things happen. The show must go on. So this is part 2. Bella, stop it, baby. Stop, sweetheart. My little puppy wants to play right now. Bella. Oh, baby girl. Okay. All right. Relax, sweetheart. Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. Bella, stop it. Okay. Go. Go get your ball. Lord. My pets are like little children. Yeah, guys, sorry. The show must go on. I wanted to finish up this topic, and I wanted to also just briefly touch on the topic of colorism, right? This is something I really don't want to talk about at all, but I feel, why not address it? I think I'm a good candidate, one of the perfect people to actually address it. But at the same time, I'm not educated enough about it. In all honesty, this is sincere. All honesty, I'm not educated enough about colorism. Colorism is a term and a whole thing that I literally just learned about maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. And I didn't do a deep dive on it. This is something that I'm just like really, really hearing and learning and hearing the narrative repeated over and over and over again from social media. Literally from social media. And I'm going to I'm going to go into a little bit of background about that. But I want to finish first with this topic of, in my opinion, jealousy and envy being the number 1 and number 2 deadliest sins. I want to finish up where I left off with the story that I was telling you guys about something that happened to me recently while I was out in my local area. The area I live in South Jersey, there are some very, very affluent neighborhoods. The areas that I frequent and visit when I go out to eat, when I go, to just socialize, when I am outside in spaces where I'm spending a decent amount of time, it is most certainly in a well-moneyed area. So there's all walks of life, that are in this area here in South Jersey, but there are some areas where there are some impoverished areas also. Those are areas I really try to not frequent and just kind of try to stay away from. I think it is important and again, listen, here's one of my insecurities. One of my insecurities is being misunderstood. One of my insecurities is because when I speak on certain topics, because the general public hasn't learned me well enough yet, because I speak with such conviction on certain topics, I may come across in a way that I don't intend. That's my biggest insecurity about the social media space. I am very matter of fact and blunt about certain topics, and I just don't want my opinion to be relayed or come across in a way that, again, is hurtful or discouraging to anyone. But there are just certain topics that need to be addressed, certain things that just, in my opinion, they need to be said. They can be said in a way that is helpful, and that's because I'm someone who, in my past, wasn't a great communicator. I was a great reactor, not a responder. So I recently, in recent years, had to learn how to communicate better. I had to learn how to take other people's feelings into account a lot more. I had to learn to cater to um, I had to learn how to cater to certain people in a way where they would not be offended by my words. It is something that I heard someone say recently, and the way she put it was genius. I have had to do a ton of emotional labor for other fully grown adults. Um, for a large majority of my life, and I had to decide that I don't want to do that anymore, and I don't want to have that type of person around me anymore who I have to do coddling for in order for them to feel better about themselves. So yeah, but yeah, that's my biggest insecurity with the social media space, for my true heart and my true intentions to not come across in the way I intended, and for it to sound um as if it's condescending when I don't intend for it to be that way. So yeah, I tap dance and tiptoe a lot. With that said, um, when the woman and I went to the restaurant, we walked into the restaurant. I went to the ladies' room. I came back to where we were sitting. I passed by the gentleman who was already in the restaurant. He was there, minding his own business, doing whatever it is he was doing. She and I were having our conversation. She and I were talking. We ordered our beverages. We ordered our food. We were waiting for our food to come. It was a brief interaction. He and I never exchanged any words. He communicated to the waiter or waitress that he was paying our tab, and then he left. And it was as simple as that. I let her know that our tab was paid for, and it felt as if she had an attitude. It honestly felt as if, and this is someone that I'm just recently getting to know, and up to now, I had not experienced this from her. So it kind of took me aback. It took me off guard, but it also alerted me to, okay, that was supposed to happen. I'm glad that happened. It happened by accident. This wasn't planned at all. We weren't even supposed to be at this location. But that incident happened. That was a sign from God. I promise you, I take everything as a sign that this person, you can't keep them in close proximity to you. You're going to have to be very mindful of how you interact with this person, because this is not going to be safe for you. There have been multiple confirmations since that happened that let me know that how I feel about that situation is accurate, and I just have to interact with that individual just in a very cordially, and just in a professional setting. That is something that I think that is something that I think a lot of men don't understand about women, that we experience that a whole lot. That is something that I think not enough women really talk about and discuss out loud, because it seems off putting to other women. And it's unfortunate. It is something that I think just goes without saying. There is a level of pretty privilege that gives you certain access. It just is. There's a level of pretty privilege that gives you license to receive things that maybe some others would not. And unfortunately, whenever I am faced with that, if it's someone who is in close proximity to me, who feels slighted or who feels not seen, they take it a personal way. And people are never going to admit this. This is something that people will never admit out loud. Jealous and envious people don't ever come to you and say, hey, I'm jealous of you. I think you're amazing and you have all the things that I don't have. They're never going to say that to you. That's not how this works. They will pick at you, they will bully you, they will nitpick, they will make remarks and comments that let you know that they are comparing themselves to you. You make them greater, honestly. You really make them rise to a higher level of themselves that they probably would not have risen to if they weren't around you, but they will never credit you for it. It turns into a silent competition. It turns into, why do you have those heels on? We're just at this place. Why are you all dressed up? Instead of simply saying, you look beautiful. And then the next comment will be, I broke my ankle years ago and I can't wear high heels. Listen, ladies, you have to separate yourselves. It's unfortunate, but ladies, Shanquella Robinsons are all over the world, not just in the USA. That young lady, Shanquella Robinson, was surrounded by so-called friends. And those so-called friends are never going to answer to her murder. That's a young lady who was doing well in life, young and accomplished, a business owner, super successful. As the story goes, those quote unquote friends stole her money, lied to her parents about how she perished, and are never going to answer for it. Never. And they seem to not show any remorse at all either. They're probably, people like that want you gone because it makes them somehow feel better about their existence. It is unfortunate. It is unfair. That's the thing, that people do not look at us, the ones who are on the receiving end. No one has sympathy for us. No one understands what it is that we experience or go through. And it's something that for a lot of women, it makes us not trust other women. It opens our awareness to a level of cattiness within women that we never understood until we actually did our own work to really pay attention to other case studies and other situations that are similar. So then we can say, oh, okay, this isn't something that I need to take personal. I don't need to feel any type of way about myself. I'm not here to coddle anyone. I'm not here to console anyone or I always try to speak life into people. But if you can't find that life in yourself, you have to understand that you become dead weight to other people, and people have to let that go. It is an anchor that keeps you stuck in a cycle of a space that you don't want to be in anymore. We have a responsibility, ladies, to thoroughly vet and evaluate other people's lives. If there is anything about someone else that you pick up on, you immediately notice. If people are showing you signs that they suffer from low self-esteem, low confidence, if people are showing you signs that whatever illusion of what you thought they had really isn't what it seems, it isn't really satisfying or pleasing to them. They really aren't happy in their love relationship. They really feel like they can't get better. They really feel like they are overlooked or small compared to you when they're standing next to you, and they start to do little subtle things, little small little slights. Women, there are a lot of women out here who know where I'm going with this, who have experienced it. Little subtleties, little things, the competition, the you know, just lot of different things that are of a competitive nature, a lot of different little subtleties where you're just being you and living your life, and then you find out that this person is like just there's a movie, I think it was what's the movie, single white female. This person is turning into the single white female. They're starting to want to dress like you, wear their hair like you, their nail polish is like yours all of a sudden. They're angry because they can't wear high heels. They want to know where you shop for your clothes. They want to know what it's too much. Someone like that, you have to gracefully separate yourself from and allow them to find their own way in life, unfortunately. That's just the reality. So I just wanted to play you a little bit more of this video. I think that if more of us, again, took this serious, a lot more of us could be forewarned and have foresight when things like this are happening. Let me play a little bit more of this video.
But that's like the extreme part of the thing. Let's add that there. It is a part, right? Most people, though, it just becomes a detriment to themselves. No, I disagree, Fire. I disagree with the average, because listen, the average person that's great is by not doing harm to them physically, Fire. It doesn't matter if it's physical, Fire, and that is the reason. That is what I'm saying. That's the reason I say I don't care.
This part is really important. I need you all to listen to this, because the spiritual aspect of this, the bad mind, the evil eye, the energetic pull to pull you down and weigh you down, that mental, spiritual, and emotional toll that it takes on you is as detrimental, sometimes more. Some people don't recover from that part at all, and they become a shell of themselves. It has happened there are so many case studies in pop culture, in Hollywood. There are so many, countless case studies of people whose light was dimmed by themselves because they were shining so bright around people who couldn't take it. They were in the wrong circles. They were placing themselves in rooms that they should not have been in, shrinking themselves, becoming less of themselves until you become nothing. And then you wind up either taking your own life, or you wind up becoming again so depressed, so down in the dumps, because the people who are around you, the people who, let me use my words wisely, because the spaces that you've chosen to force yourself to fit into that you no longer fit into are sucking you dry. They're sucking the life out of you. And instead of really having to just do the work of solitude, really do the work of solitude, and do the work necessary to get ourselves to our next level of life, so that we are in company with other superheroes, with the other people who see our greatness, accept our greatness, because they are larger than life and they are great. So they want other greats to be around them. There is a reason that there is the, what do you call it? I don't know, comics. What do you call it? The Super League, or what? The Justice League. There's a reason that there's the Justice League, and all superheroes hang out with one another with different levels of talent, different gifts, different creativity that they bring, different value that they bring to the room. There's a reason they all hang out together. Giants need to be amongst giants. And unfortunately, a lot of giants, we can't see ourselves. And those who can't find their inner giants, if we don't see it within ourselves, they for sure are not going to bring it out of us, because they don't have the capability. And if you look back over the history of life, I am talking to someone in this moment, and this video is going to reach someone who needs to hear this. I am talking to someone somewhere who is afraid to step into their greatness. I am talking to someone somewhere who is hiding in the shadows of mediocrity. I am talking to someone somewhere who is shoving themselves into a box, becoming a shell of themselves, won't be the fullest best version, the highest version of themselves, because you are trying to make people around you like you. You want to be less than who you are to make them like you. And you don't understand that people pleasing energy, the fact that you are trying to make them like you want them to like you. You want them to not feel intimidated by you. You don't have the power to intimidate anyone. None of us do. We don't have the power to make anyone feel any less of themselves at all. People feel how they feel about themselves. People choose their feelings. If people don't see their own greatness, and for whatever reason you living and breathing in your greatness offends or intimidates them, that is for them to figure out, unfortunately. That is why you have to leave people behind. You have to walk into your own greatness. You have to separate yourself. Lots of times, God will separate chosen people, particular people who he is going to use to serve a greater purpose, to then give back, to then speak to those who are less, who are not walking in their gifts, to then speak to those, to bring those up who are afraid to come up because there's no one around you who's going to support you in, whatever it is that you're doing. So you feel like you just don't even want to be bothered. You don't want to do it because of all the hate that you're getting. You're using the wrong word. People are hurt. That is something I had to learn. And it doesn't matter either way or the other. You can stay mediocre. They still aren't going to like you. You still aren't going to fit in with them. You still don't belong working at Target. You still don't belong working at Popeyes. You're greater than that. A lot of people who are great, who are giants, who are creatives, who are gifted, who are purposeful, are unemployable. That's the reality. We're literally unemployable, overqualified, honestly, and will get bored at a menial office desk job. We're overqualified. I have become unemployable. Literally. I wish I was kidding. I can't take it. I have become unemployable. I can't. There is no office job that I could ever force or shove myself down into. Ever. The areas that I'm venturing into, these are for me and my personal uh legacy, things that I'm doing separate from any human being or interaction with other human beings. I can't take the mental stress of interactions with most. I am stumbling over my words. I am telling you all, I'm telling you, the stories, I would bore everyone to tears because most people don't care and don't want to hear it. So you have to keep these things to yourself or share them in the privacy of your therapist's office. The things, I'm telling you, the things. There's nothing you can do about it, but just keep being great. There's a young lady who is from Philadelphia, has a clothing brand, started online, opened a brick and mortar clothing space, and the people who I'm sure probably knew her threw bricks into her front window of her clothing store. Hers is the only one on that block vandalized. That is insanity. A lot of folks who can't find their greatness don't want others to be great. For whatever reason, they attach their lack to your success, and it's wild. And again, you may be someone who is in the middle of where you're at. You haven't even reached your destination. You're just laying the bricks. You're just laying your foundation. You're just minding your own business, going along with your own life, doing your own thing, and other people can't stand it. It makes it hard to have friendships. It does. It makes it hard for women to get along with one another. The cattiness. Women fight and compare over men. A man has his own preference, ladies. It isn't your job to compete with other women for the attention of a man, ladies. And any man who wants to pit you, against another woman, that is so unhealthy. There are some men who like for women to fight over them. They get a rush off of that. Immature and insecure. A grown boy, that's not a man. A man, ladies, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Men, some men have a type, some men have a preference, some men date only their race, some men date all races, some men like slim girls, some men like thick girls, some men like top heavy girls, some men like bottom heavy girls, some men like both, some men could care less. Some men uh, like a woman who's intelligent. That's what they look for first. Some men are looking for a woman with the qualities of a great wife and mother. Some men are looking for the qualities of someone to just have fun with, just fun for whatever amount of time we can have some fun for the evening or maybe tomorrow night too. And then that's it. Men look for what they look for, and it's their choice. It is your job to allow, it's their job to pursue. They pursue, you choose, and you allow, you approve. That's it. You don't chase, you attract, and then you vet, and then you either approve or deny. We cannot make a man choose us over another woman, and you fighting with another woman or being catty or competitive toward another woman behind a man, ladies. You'll never win at that game. That is not something that you want to enter. That's yeah, I've seen that often. I've seen it. I want to play a little bit more of this video, and then I'm going to speak briefly on the topic of colorism, and then we are going to wrap this up. I'm uploading both audio versions to my podcast. So you are going to be able to listen to the replay. And I will also upload the full video versions, both of them to YouTube. Again, I have seen other content creators and streamers systems crash in the middle of their streaming, in the middle of their programming. I am not in a live studio, and I have seen live studio audiences, as I'm sure many of us have, live studio audiences go down in the middle of filming. The show must go on. It is what it is. It will get better. I will be uploading all of the content, right? We are human beings. We are allowed to make errors. I am not going to deprive the audience of the content that I'm making because someone can still gain benefit from this. The people offline are not living perfect lives either. I want whatever content I'm creating and putting out to just be put out. Okay. And it'll continue to get better. Let me play a little bit more of this video on envy and jealousy being two of the deadliest sins. And the way they've titled it, they're saying that they are the biggest plagues on earth, and social media plays a huge part. Not enough people are intentional about not posting your material items on social media. It's not necessary. It isn't necessary. Or your whereabouts. Let's continue with this.
Because even if it's not physical, the wickedest people on earth are not the ones who do the physical things. It's the one who have the mental thought process. Because enough people don't understand energy is something. Energy is a thing where enough people have you and them create a space and an energy that throw you off with all of that intention, that bad intention and all of that. Hold on, Fire. You say they throw you off or they think they throwing you off? No, them show it. They reach some form of levels where they show you up. Because remember in a word, when every religion, every religion say they're praying, right? Yeah. Every religion have a concept of prayer. What is prayer? Prayer is just an affirmation and an intention. So you see, anybody who have a bad intention or an ill thought for me, even if they don't affect me physically, the fact that they have an ill intention for me, them throw something up in the ear will create a different atmosphere. So now the fact now me.
You have to be very careful who you allow to pray for you. Some people are praying for you, PRAY, and they want to see you do well. Some people are praying on you, PREY. That's a different thing. Some people are praying for your downfall. I don't let people pray for me or over me. I used to, not anymore. Not anymore. I'm telling y'all, hypervigilant. Sorry, you have to be. I've adopted this because I know what I've adopted this now because I know what my next is. So yeah.
After work, twice as hard now to instill the concept where me set up, which is nothing wrong with that, because I already set out, said the Gideon are gonna be rough, the journey are gonna be rough, and we know the process of the journey. Yeah. Not saying that they can stop you because of your intention. Clear, that's what yeah, definitely, because that would be a whole low level thing. So they can't stop you from doing that. All right. See, but you see, anybody who have an ill intention for you, anything that is in the mind will always somehow manifest its way to a physical, because human beings are so caught up in the physicality, in the concept of physicality, that once a human being of aggression, ill intention, grudge, any one of these traits that human beings have, and them keep on reiterate that, at some given point there will be one of them who come out and try to do that physically. And me, I always tell myself, so from you have an ill intention for me, I don't even want to be around you, because you are more egregious and more dreadful and terrible than the person who will come outright and physical and try to approach me, because I don't even know of your intention sometimes. Because most time people envious and grudgeful, you don't know them intention. Question for the
It's very true. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. Also, if I haven't mentioned it before, be mindful of the people that you have around you, but do not support you out loud on social media. Be mindful of the people who listen, there are almost 8 billion people in this world, right? You're gonna have people who support you. Lots of times strangers will support you more than people you have known your whole life, or blood relatives, or family members, or former friends. You know, there's probably maybe I don't know, maybe 50 people or less that were in your immediate circle at one point or another. You have to ask yourself, what heights have they reached in life where they actually want to support someone out loud in public, where they have to expose themselves, right? So I always think about all those things. All those things. There are people who are going to support you. There are people who are going to embrace you. There are people who are going to see your greatness, right? Stop trying to rely on people who clearly are showing you that they can't support you publicly. Lots of times it's because of how they spoke about you privately. So they will never support you publicly. It doesn't matter if they spin the block. They've spoken negatively about you privately. So they aren't going to show the others that they were speaking about you to, that they now are supporting you publicly. They might DM you. They may go so far as to try and send you a text message, but at the most they'll probably DM you. Everything has to stay private and hush. These are people who are showing you they don't care about you. Envious and jealous. But I want to play this part here. Yeah, and okay. Let me preface again with the rest of this video that I'm about to play in this moment with this statement. I am one of the most optimistic, upbeat, happy, positive, glass half full. I just want everybody to can't everybody just get along? People. I'm a hugger. All those things had to change for me. I have something called positive projection. I learned this term in therapy. I have something that blinds me to who people really are, because I am projecting who I am onto other people. I have done it my whole life. So now I am learning how to hold off with people and slow walk people to see who they actually are. Because all the positive projection, all the smiles, there's a whole lot of venom sometimes behind those smiles. Every smile is not a genuine smile. It's important for you to know that if you are walking in your God-given purpose, you're carrying God's gifts, your number one job is to protect yourself. That's your number one job. Your number one job, your number one priority is you and your safety, not considering other people first. Let other grown adults figure themselves out and consider themselves. If that person was going to be an asset in your life, you wouldn't have any of this interaction with them. Everything would genuinely be love. You wouldn't have to question anything. So that is someone who is showing you that they should not be in your life. I don't like to sound pessimistic about this in this moment, but there was a point in my life where I had to wake up and take off the rose colored glasses and start to see life in a different, in actual reality. See people as they show me that they are and believe them the first time without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm okay being wrong because I'm okay losing that person because to me, they really were not an asset. There was no value for me to gain. They would have been another taker. There was no value. There was no value. Um, so I'm okay with even getting it wrong, detaching and cutting them off because of a gut feeling. I'm willing to be wrong to make room for something else to come in. These are life lessons that I am teaching you guys. This is going to save someone's life. This is going to get someone to their next level, honestly. So I just wanted to preface the next of the video with that because I echo this gentleman's sentiments. Let's continue.
Kabaka Pyramid release him album and we actually line up tracks and like the production and we start tell people Virgo album and I talk about how not lines, man. So listen to the state, not to be pessimistic. It's just that most people can't say them tied them most human beings tie their success the other's success, right? So they can't see themselves off as making it out if that person make it out also. So it's like as you mentioned it at the start. Once that person is doing something good, okay, that album is too good, all right. You know what? That's gonna stop me from making sales on my album. They don't realize it's not correlated. It's two separate things, and there's a space for everybody to strive because everybody is unique, just as their fingerprint are. And everybody's success is different too. Fire, you can't gauge the next man's success. That's that man's journey. So you can't use that as a criteria for your thing. But most people, that's what me I say no. That's why they flop out themselves. But I think most people there will be a trend of most people continuing to flop out themselves. Yeah. Not to be pessimistic, but I think they will continue to flop out themselves because they're so far gone in pollution and fire. I witnessed envy of recent where I'm making money on a particular project and somebody said to me, say, okay, you can't make money. We're not making money on this particular project. So why should you make money? Somebody legitimately said that. So what type of forgiveness or what type of mentality should I have towards this farmer envy? And this is an envy that constantly happens. So we have to understand, say, most human beings, we have to be very careful of what this is. Envy is one of the worst things you can have in it because envy is the farm where it leads to all crime and all violence. I want to say
I really the laughter from this other guy, this giggling is annoying me because this is no laughing matter. What the first gentleman said is the 1000% truth. There are so many people behind bars right now, people that have lost their lives, people who were listen, a lot of crime happens behind envy. That's why I have made the statement before that I am not a believer that black on black crime does not exist. It does. A lot of people are targeted by people that they know behind envy. So I think being a realist, yes, being optimistic about your path, being optimistic and joyful about what you have going on, be optimistic and joyful and peaceful and positive and pleasant about all the beautiful things that are in your life, whatever fruits you are enjoying, right? But be realistic and just keep your eyes open and be honest with yourself about the world and how it actually is and who people actually are, right? Not who people pretend to be. And the first time that people show you who they are, believe them. I want to actually skip over that part. I don't want to speak to that out loud.
and that
I
mask
want to play
on,
this part.
that it's still so hard to even fit the process itself. So I feel like number one, as there, say, which I truly agree, you can't make it get in your head. Yeah. I think that is the number one thing. And you can't, sometimes, the weird part of it, when people envy you, sometimes it leads to ego. It leads to you having an ego. And it's a thing where you have to be careful of, because you say, wait, but I'm doing something good. So much people envy me on this particular journey. Oh, yeah. All right, me are the man then. And sometimes it's supposed to be, it should flatter you, right? Yeah. As you mentioned, but some people make it.
That's a very important part also to bring up. That is a very important part. That's the part for me that I was kind of over explaining and like trying to tap dance around, right? That is the part. Whoever you are in your greatness is who you are. And I feel like we all are who we are. Any greatness, any level of high earning, any level of high achievement, any level of influence, adoration, any higher level that we reach in life only exposes who we always are. I don't believe that people change and turn into someone else. I believe, yes, there are qualities about me that I'm seeing in real time that are changing. This hypervigilance that I have now, I never used to have before. I used to trust people. I don't trust anyone anymore. No one. I trust no one. I put myself first over and above everything and everyone. I've never done any of these things before. I don't believe anybody's words. I believe action. I believe you are what you do, not what you say. And when you show me who you are in action or inaction, that is who you are. And I believe it. So I'm going to go on about my way, right? I believe these are all new feelings for me. These are all new realizations. These are all new ways that I've had to alter myself to adapt to the world. I believe that an overinflated ego only exists in someone who is deeply rooted still in insecurity. Whether or not you guys realize it, there are a lot of great people on earth who are walking around with imposter syndrome because who they are now or who they have become or whatever level of success they've achieved, or I think a lot of people wind up being maybe surprised by their success or surprised by um, their self actualization, or become so power drunk on who they are and their influence that they wield it for bad. But I believe that those characteristics and traits were already there. Maybe the world just didn't see it on a grand stage. I wholeheartedly believe that a higher level of achievement or success or high earning or whatever it is that you achieve, right? Maybe you make a name for yourself. Maybe you, achieve your wildest dreams, right? um, achieve a level of influence. Everybody knows your name, a level of access, a level of where you can have whatever you want. You can buy whatever you want. You can buy whoever you want. I believe that once you get to that level, if you have an overinflated ego, if you use your power to harm other people, if you become someone who's just out of control, you need a bunch of yes people around you. You can't ever hear that you are wrong. You become someone who talks down on others just for the sake of talking down on others. It's never a teachable moment. You're just a nasty human being, just a nasty individual. I believe that if that's who you become, that's who you always were. And those traits and characteristics were always there. What he's speaking about now in this video, the gentleman from the Bald Head and the Dread podcast on I Never Knew TV, what he's speaking about in this moment is when certain people realize that a lot of other people are envious and jealous of them, it eventually goes to their head. And it turns them into someone that they weren't. But there are those of us who've had confidence instilled in us as babies. We've reached levels of, let me tell you something. I had to talk to God one day. I had to really sit down and say, you know what, God? I had to look around and I had to say to myself, God, thank you. I had to stop asking him for more and I had to just sit down and be still. And I had to thank God for my now and just let go of all anxiety for my next, because I woke up one day. I was so down on myself because I did not understand this internet. I'm literally learning the internet as I go, piece by piece, step by step, stage by stage. Don't have a problem showing that, saying that. It doesn't bruise my ego or whatever. I don't have a problem. I'm not here to fake it until I make it. I'm here to be honest about my intent and what I'm doing. I'm here to be influential in a way that is relatable so that someone can use what I have to offer. So I am not here to pretend like I am the best content creator. I have the greatest advice. You have to listen to me. I'm not trying to amass a cult following. I would love it if anyone were to hear the information that I'm relaying and use it for good to feed your soul and to better your life and to better yourself, make better decisions for you, make wiser, smarter decisions for you. Don't get yourself stuck in a space in life that you cannot get out of, or continue to make permanent decisions based on your temporary emotions. I'm here to simply be the big aunt, the big sister, or whatever, who's had a ton of her own beautiful life experiences, nothing that I regret or would do over, but for sure learned a ton to try to help someone to not have to fall down in some of the ways in which I've fallen in the past, right? Saying all that to say, I had to ask God, I had to say, you know what, God, I'm good right now. Thank you. I'm good. I'm beyond good right now, because where I am right now in life, where I am right now, and some of these parts I'm going to leave out. Some things I'm just not even going to say. Where I am right now in life is more than what I ever imagined when I made the rash decision to just drop everything and just restart my life from listening to God's advice and hearing his voice. It's more than what I could have asked for. It is more. And I said to him, you know what? In this moment, I'm just going to relax and I'm just going to say thank you. And I'm going to ease into this transition and this phase of my life. And I'm going to start to do it a little more smoothly now that I see a clear path and I'm in a little bit of a space of more understanding. Because everything that I have ever wanted, I've gotten. Everything that I have ever manifested, everything that I have ever asked God for, any career that I've wanted, any job that I've wanted, any opportunity that I've wanted, any little gigs that I've gotten, any people that I wanted to meet, any space that I wanted to be, whatever country I wanted to fly to, I have gotten everything that I have asked God for up to now. I have been asking for such little things. And I said, you know what? I need to start manifesting some bigger stuff. So let me sit down and let me just do what I need to do what he told me to do in the order he told me to do it. Say thank you, sit down and be grateful. Let me work in this, let me walk in this, and let me start manifesting some bigger stuff for me. Because I want some bigger stuff. He's always given me what I asked for. I've always given back also. I tithe. I give back to the less fortunate. I am always in service. Always in service. God will not anoint his chosen, and God will not bring you to your next level until, number one, you demonstrate that you can handle a little. Number two, you're grateful and you express gratitude for what he already gave you. Number three, speak about him and let people know that it was nothing but God, and by his grace, if it weren't for him, you wouldn't be here. It has nothing to do with anyone. I promise you. So yeah, I had to just chill, just sit back for a second and just look around and just say, you thank you. God, thank you. Thank you. I think a lot of us forget to express gratitude. We're not thankful enough. But yeah, just to wrap that up, I want to wrap up that topic. I'm going to briefly speak on colorism. I'm going to try to skate in and out of this conversation and then close out this video. Um Yeah. No one can make you feel any way that you don't already feel about yourself. Your greatness is yours. Your greatness is yours. No one can take anything that's meant for you. No one's going to get anything that is meant for you. What's meant for you is yours. What's meant for you is for you. What's meant for others is for others. You can't have what was anointed for someone else, and they can't have what was destined for you. That's not how life works. The topic of jealousy and envy, it is something that a whole lot more of us can be more aware of. I don't think it is something that's ever going to just wholeheartedly come to a cold stop, obviously, right? But I think that content creators, influencers, those with larger platforms, those with who are more visible in the public, need to start moving a lot smarter, need to become a little bit more hyper vigilant and protective of their person and their personal space, their personal well-being. Stop sharing so much with the public. There are things that the public just does not need to know. Social media is for work, and that is it. I think if people took it more serious and used it as more of just a work tool, those who are leaders in this space, just a work tool. It's not show and tell. Everything that is relative to your brand, but it's not show and tell. It isn't look at here at what I bought. It isn't for that reason, right? But to each his own. But yeah, I think that just believing that people are who they show you that they are, believing people the very first time that they pop out and say, this is who I am, believe them. I think all giants, although most can't see themselves, there are some that most giants belong in rooms with other giants. Again, there's a reason that the Justice League all hung out with one another, right? Everyone's sharing different gifts, different talents, different strengths. So, last thing on colorism. I have a very, very, and I sincerely apologize in advance. I'm going to preface this little couple minutes of what I'm about to say on the topic of colorism with this statement. I have a very juvenile understanding of colorism. It is something that I don't care to dive deeper into. I just don't. I don't care to go down a rabbit hole with colorism. I don't care to gain a thorough understanding. It's like going back and figuring out all over again why we were ever slaves. That's how I liken that. It's like watching movies like Harriet Tubman over and over again. I'm not interested in that stuff. I am interested in forward progress. Again, I never knew what colorism was. I grew up in a world that was colorblind. From the time I was born, first of all, my father was military, so I'm a military baby. My parents were married. Deep South, yes. My parents knew each other when they were children, yes. I think that perhaps my elders experienced color. First of all, the type of person I am and the way that I am, you have to tell me what exists in order for me to know and understand that that is what exists. If no one tells me and you don't explain it to me, this is literally how my brain operates. I don't know to search for what I don't know or what I'm not looking for, if that makes sense. No one ever told me, Kim, dark skinned people are on a lower totem pole than light skinned people. Like, you literally have to have said those words to me, Kim. You are supposed to not like yourself because you are dark skinned. Light skinned people get all access in life. I needed to literally have someone say those words to me to make it make sense. I grew up, first of all, my mother used to watch Oprah. My mother was a housewife when she was married prior to their divorce. My first almost 11 years of my life were spent in South Carolina. My brain was already shaped. My formative years were in a colorblind world. I went to school with white and black kids. I played with white and black kids on my block. My mother never explained to me, those kids are white and you are black, so this is how you act and this is how they act. It was never that. Our lives were integrated. You have to tell a child. Racism is taught, hatred is taught, lack of self-awareness, lack of confidence, all those things are taught. So racism was never taught to me, and I've never had any personal experiences with it. Colorism was never explained or taught to me, and I've never had any personal experiences with it. The very first time I actually heard of colorism, all right, so I'm just going to rewind really quick. I don't want to make this a long drawn out thing, just so that you guys can understand my thought process and why God would even choose me to be in this position to maybe help some other chocolate girls to get rid of whatever complex issues they have, right? About their skin color, because you can't change it. I don't believe in making excuses as to why you're not wherever it is you want to be in life, or why you can't have whatever it is you want in life. That's just the bottom line. I don't believe in it, right? With exception to some things, there are some limitations, right? This algorithm is my limitation, but it's also me not, doing what I need to do to get on top of the algorithm at this point, now that I understand it. So I want you all to hear my very specific words and language and word choice. But anyway, going back to colorism, when I was growing up, I was very young when I saw movies like, what was it? The first one I saw was School Days, both by Spike Lee, both Spike Lee movies, School Days and Mo Better Blues. I thought they were phenomenal movies. Back then, Spike Lee was my favorite filmmaker and director. As I've gotten older and I've evolved, now M. Night Shyamalan is my favorite movie filmmaker and director, right? And producer. However, back then, I was too young. I didn't understand. I thought they were phenomenal movies. I didn't get the correlation of, oh, light skin is being pit against dark skin. I never understood that. Okay, let me use internet language, since I'm here on the internet. I was always picked, so it was never a burden to me. It was never. I've had homegirls who were of all shades. I was best friends for many years with two twins, identical twins, who are light skinned. My very first best friend, who wound up going off to the service, I'm not sure what branch, she wound up having a baby young. We parted ways. She was light skinned. She had a mother who was an alcoholic. She spent all her time under my wing, at my house, at my family. There are things about us as human beings that, again, I think, and again, the colorism topic, I didn't hear about it on the internet and actually start paying attention and being more deliberate about, why does this topic keep coming up and what do they mean? And then looking like, oh, okay. And then as I reflect back, it's like, oh, okay, that's what they meant about the music videos back in the day, and just the light skinned girls being cast in the music videos. I'm sorry, again, pretty privilege gave me a blind spot to a lot of things in life. It just did. So, yeah. But what was I going to say? I think when I was maybe about 16 or 17, I'm now in Philadelphia and I'm hanging out with one of my older cousins. And as we're out at whatever club or whatever we're at, she keeps saying to me constantly, these light skinned girls think they're better than us. And she's a shade lighter than me. She's like the shade of a brown paper bag. I'm darker than her. And I never understood what she meant. And I'm like, I don't understand what she means. Like, I didn't get it. And I never asked her to go deep into it, but she would just make these comments like in my ear while we're out. Yeah, those light skinned girls, they think they better than us. I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, I'm over here having my drinks, I'm dancing. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm confused. Again, ladies, chocolate girls, darker skinned girls, girls who were never quote unquote picked. You don't feel good enough. You don't feel pretty enough. You got to look at you in the mirror and find yourself and find your greatness. You really do. Yes, as I understand it, I get it. The societal norms about the light skin and dark skin and the colorism and all this and all that. I have not had personal adverse experience with it. Again, those things have to be taught to you young. Those things have to be taught to you early. Those things have to be instilled, ingrained in you. They have to be beat into your brain to say, you are less than, you are less than, you are less than. Oh, that's the point I was getting ready to make. My every day when I would come home from school, when we were really little, still living down south, my mother would be watching Oprah every day at 4 o'clock. I would sit with her and watch Oprah. I would watch a woman who I visually identified with be excellent and great on television. I would hear how she articulated. She would be fluctuating with her weight up and down. I have watched Oprah all these years. I have had plenty examples of beautiful chocolate women. I'm trying to think in my family. I have one older aunt who's actually about my complexion, or she may be a tad bit darker. I'm probably the most chocolate woman in my family. Probably, yeah. And I have more of my father's complexion, but I come from good stock, good genes. I'm sorry. It's just those things have to be taught to you young. They have to be ingrained in you. You have to have some level of insecurity that is wired in you. That's my puppy down here. Bella, go, baby. Mommy's almost dead. Okay, I'm going to get your ball. Just hold on a minute. She's freaking out. Her ball's under the couch. You have to have that insecurity. Bella, sit, baby. Sit. Okay, relax. You have to have an insecurity like that beat into you early in order for it to stick and in order for you to believe it and start telling yourself and selling yourself that narrative. That's just my opinion. You have to have um been slighted personally or experienced a slight and uh, it just again, I like to tread lightly. I don't want to speak on topics that I'm ignorant on. I really am ignorant on colorism. I don't know enough. I am not intelligent enough to really speak to it. And I also grew up in the house. I was on the sidewalk. I wasn't in the streets. I didn't live a hard life. I was sheltered. I was given everything. I went to work. I came home. I dealt with family and a few other people, a few other friends. I've had homegirls of all shades growing up, all shades, all beautiful. We were all pretty girls. I hung out with my cousin occasionally, and for the most part, whenever she brought it to my attention, she would say, "These girls, these light skinned girls, think that they're better than us." You know, again, it's a very juvenile um approach or take maybe that I have on it. Again, because I don't this is just it just I don't know how I even want to. I just, yeah, I just, it's a sore subject for a lot of people, for a lot of women especially. And a lot of women have very soft emotions. So my stance on it is unique to me. And I don't want to take away from anyone else's experience that they've had. My mindset is programmed differently. So yeah, that's why I said I really don't want to talk about that. I don't want, as I understand it, people are experiencing or have experienced a lot of deep hurt behind this, a lot of deep hurt. And I can't imagine what that feels like. So I cannot empathize with that. I can sympathize, and I don't want to discount someone else's feelings toward this topic. I don't want to be insensitive. Um, I just don't share the sentiment of, and I don't know how to not like myself. I'm actually a little bit conceited, if I'm being totally honest. And I just lied. I'm a lot of bit conceited, a lot of bit, because I stand in God's anointing. I am a lot of bit conceited. I am a lot of bit sure of myself, and I don't apologize for it, and I never will. Um, I'm made in His image, and so is everyone else. You were made in and created in God's image. I have, I again, I don't know how to use my words really proper on that topic, but I would just say that whatever insecurity you're experiencing because of your color, your skin tone, number one, it isn't something that you can change ever. Number two, if you're around people who willed it against you, stay away from them. Number three, there are a lot of women, no matter how beautiful they are, no matter what their skin tone is, no matter their level of privilege, who have terrible attitudes, and they are horrible human beings. So just because you're pretty, if you have a nasty attitude or you're horrible to other people, just because, and you think you're pretty, awards you, or gives you the leverage to be nasty to other people just because, I mean, there are plenty of beautiful women who are, again, of lighter shades, who are of all shades, who are just not good people, not pretty on the inside. So, yeah, I just, things like that, I just don't allow to affect me. I don't know how, because it wasn't taught. So, there are two content creators specifically who I hear talk at, two women, one from Philadelphia and one who was in the news recently, who talk about the subject all the time. And I'm like, like I said, I just started hearing about it maybe 2 at the most 3 years ago. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's what it is. I am going to end this video here. I did a whole lot of talking tonight. Goodness grief. This was choppy and all over the place. This was 2 hours split into 2 sessions. All of the content will be uploaded. The audio version will be on my podcast. So make sure you are checking out the replay everywhere pods are cast, and make sure you give it a 5-star rating. If you are listening to the video on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this topic. Like the video, share, make sure you are subscribed. Check out all social media platforms. I have content on multiple platforms: YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok. I've just established, so you got to give me some time to build. My community tab on YouTube, make sure you're checking that out. There's always some inspiration, and there'll be more mindset meals and motivation. Love, travel, and manifest. Live your life for purpose without asking anyone else for permission. And in case no one told you today, I love you. I love you because I love myself. I love you with agape love. I want the best for others because I want the best for myself. The best of what life has to offer is available to everyone, and no one can stop your blessings or take away what God has for you. So I want to end it with that. And I turn on your post notifications. I'll probably be hopping off and on throughout the weekend, perhaps. All right. So make sure your post notifications are turned on, and I will check in with you soon. All right. Thanks for watching.